Chosen one, today is a sacred moment in your life. This is not just another morning, it is a divine appointment. If you are listening to these words, understand that you have been called. There are no coincidences in God's plan. He has led you here for a reason, and this message is meant for you. Deep within your soul, you know that God is calling you to something greater. You feel it in the quiet moments, in the times when you question your purpose, in the nights when you lay awake, searching for answers. Today, those answers are before you. This is your time to surrender. This is your moment to say, Lord, take my life. Let me follow you, no matter the cost. God is knocking at the door of your heart. He is asking you to let go of everything that holds you back, your doubts, your fears, your need for control. He is calling you to step into something far greater than you have ever imagined. But here's the truth. Surrendering to God is not always easy. It requires trust. It requires faith. It requires the courage to say, Lord, I give you everything. Are you ready to take that step? Because once you do, your life will never be the same. God is waiting, arms open wide, ready to guide you into a future filled with purpose, peace, and divine favor. But first, you must be willing to let go. Many people say they want to follow God, but few are willing to fully surrender. Why? Because surrender requires sacrifice. It requires releasing the life we have carefully planned and embracing the unknown path that God has prepared. And this can be terrifying. But what happens if we refuse? What happens if we hold on to our own plans and refuse to trust God completely? When we resist God's call, we invite struggle into our lives. We step outside of His perfect will and try to do things on our own. And when we try to carry burdens that were never meant for us, life becomes exhausting. Anxiety, stress, and worry take over. We become trapped in cycles of fear, constantly wondering if we are making the right choices. Without surrender, we are like a ship lost at sea, drifting without direction. We chase after temporary solutions, hoping that money, success, or relationships will fill the void in our hearts. But none of these things can bring true peace. The truth is, only God can provide the security, fulfillment, and purpose that our souls desperately crave. If we refuse to surrender, we also limit what God can do in our lives. He has blessings prepared for us, doors that He wants to open, miracles that He wants to perform, but He will not force us to accept them. God respects our free will. If we choose to walk our own path instead of His, we may never experience the fullness of His promises. But the good news is this: God is patient. No matter how many times we have resisted Him in the past, He is always ready to receive us with love and grace. It is never too late to surrender. It is never too late to say, Lord, I trust you. Lead me where you want me to go. One of the greatest struggles in life is letting go of control. As humans, we like to plan. We like to know what is coming next. We like to feel that we are in charge of our own destiny. But when we surrender to God, we must give up this illusion of control. Think about a child holding tightly to a broken toy, refusing to let it go. The parent knows that the toy is beyond repair, but the child cannot see that. The child only sees what they are losing, not what they could gain. The parent, however, has something far greater, a brand new, beautiful toy waiting to be given to the child. But first, the child must be willing to open their hands and let go. This is how we are with God. We cling tightly to our own plans, afraid of what will happen if we release them. We hold on to relationships that no longer serve us, jobs that drain our souls, habits that keep us stuck. But God is standing before us saying, let it go. Trust me. What I have for you is so much greater than what you are trying to hold on to. When we surrender control, we step into divine freedom. We no longer have to figure everything out on our own. We no longer have to stress over every decision. Instead, we can trust that God is leading us. We can walk forward in faith, knowing that He is directing our steps. Does this mean life will always be easy? No. But it does mean that we will never walk alone. It means that even in the hardest moments, God is right there, guiding us, protecting us, and working everything together for our good. God never asks us to surrender just so He can take something away. He asks us to surrender because He has something far greater waiting for us. But we cannot receive what He has for us if our hands are full of things we refuse to let go of. So today, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I holding on to that God is asking me to release? What fears, worries, or plans am I gripping too tightly? Now imagine opening your hands, releasing it all and saying, Lord, I give this to you. I trust you completely. When you do this, a shift will happen. Peace will flood your heart. The weight of stress and worry will begin to lift. And you will step into a new way of living, one where you no longer have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, because God is carrying it for you. Following God is not just about believing in Him. It's about committing your life to Him, no matter what it takes. Many people want the blessings of God, but they do not want the sacrifice that comes with true obedience. But Jesus Himself made it clear, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me. Luke 9:23. There is a cost to following God. It may mean giving up habits that do not align with His will. It may mean stepping away from relationships that pull you away from Him. It may even mean facing rejection from those who do not understand your faith. Look at the life of Abraham. God called him to leave behind everything he knew, his home, his family, and his comfort, to go to a place that God had not even revealed yet. Abraham had no map, no details, no guarantees. All he had was God's voice saying, "Go, and I will show you the way." And he obeyed. Imagine the fear he must have felt. Imagine the uncertainty. But Abraham's faith led him to become the father of nations. His obedience unlocked blessings that he could never have received if he had stayed where he was. God is calling you to that same level of trust. He may be asking you to step into something new. He may be asking you to walk away from a situation that is holding you back. It may not make sense in the natural, but obedience always leads to divine reward. Yes, following God comes with challenges. There may be moments when you feel alone. There may be times when you wonder if you made the right decision. But God never calls you to walk a path without walking it beside you. Every sacrifice you make for Him will be repaid with something far greater than you can imagine. So do not be afraid of what you may lose. Instead, focus on what you will gain. Because when you follow God with your whole heart, you will step into a life of divine purpose, favor, and supernatural peace. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles that keeps people from fully following God. It whispers lies that make us doubt, hesitate, and second-guess God's promises. What if I fail? What if things don't work out? What if I'm not strong enough? These thoughts are not from God. They are from the enemy who wants to keep you stuck in a place of fear instead of stepping into faith. But here is the truth. Fear is a liar. It is an illusion that tries to keep you bound, but it has no real power. The only power fear has is the power you give it. Faith, on the other hand, is what moves mountains. Faith is what allows you to step into the unknown, knowing that God has already gone before you. Faith is what gives you the confidence to say, even if I can't see what's ahead, I trust that God is leading me. Think of Peter walking on water. As long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, he was able to do the impossible. But the moment he looked at the storm around him, fear took over, and he began to sink. The storm had no real power over him. His fear did. This is a lesson for all of us. The moment we take our eyes off God and focus on our problems, fear creeps in. But when we fix our eyes on Jesus, we can walk through anything. You may be facing a situation right now that feels impossible. Maybe God is asking you to take a step of faith, and fear is telling you that you can't do it. But here's what you need to know. You are not walking alone. God is with you, guiding every step. He has already prepared the way. He has already secured the victory. Your only job is to trust Him. So today, choose faith over fear. Stand firm on God's promises. Speak life over your situation. Declare that you will not be ruled by fear, but will walk in the boldness and confidence that comes from knowing who your Father is. Because when you walk in faith, nothing is impossible. There is a divine order to how blessings flow in our lives. Many people chase after success, wealth, relationships, and happiness, only to feel empty when they finally get what they thought they wanted. Why? Because they were seeking the wrong things first. Jesus gave us the key to receiving everything we need in life. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Matthew 6:33. This means that when we put God first, everything else falls into place. It means that when we prioritize our relationship with Him over everything else, He takes care of our needs. But what does it really mean to seek God first? It means that before you make any decision, you ask, God, what is your will? It means that before you start your day, you spend time with Him in prayer. It means that before you chase after your dreams, you make sure that those dreams align with His purpose for your life. Too many people try to fit God into their schedule instead of making Him their schedule. They pray when they have time, read the Bible when they feel like it, and seek His guidance only when they are desperate. But when God is truly first in your life, He is not just part of your routine, He is the foundation of everything you do. When you seek God first, you no longer have to strive for things. You don't have to force doors open. You don't have to chase after success, because God becomes the one who provides for you. Think of it this way. Imagine you are carrying a heavy backpack filled with burdens, worries about your future, your finances, your relationships. Seeking God first is like handing that backpack over to Him and saying, Lord, you carry this. I trust you to take care of it. And when you do this, something incredible happens. The stress and worry begin to lift. You find yourself at peace, even in uncertain situations. Opportunities begin to open that you didn't even expect. Why? Because God is now in control. If you truly want to walk in divine abundance, peace, and purpose, the key is simple. Put God first in everything. Let your life be built around Him, not the other way around. When you do this, you will see how effortlessly His blessings begin to flow into every area of your life. Seek God first, and everything else will follow. One of the hardest lessons in life is waiting on God's timing. We live in a world that wants everything instantly, quick answers, fast success, and immediate results. But God does not operate on human timelines. His ways are higher, His thoughts are greater, and His timing is always perfect. When we don't see immediate answers to our prayers, doubt can creep in. We may wonder if God has forgotten us, or if He is even listening. But the truth is, God is always working behind the scenes, even when we don't see it. Look at the story of Joseph. God gave him a vision of greatness, but before that vision came to pass, Joseph went through betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment. For years, it looked like his dreams were never going to happen. But all along, God was preparing him. Every delay was actually a step toward his destiny. And when God's time was right, Joseph went from the prison to the palace in a single moment. This is how God works in our lives. When you are waiting, you are not being denied. You are being prepared. God is strengthening your faith, building your character, and positioning everything in your life so that when the breakthrough comes, you will be ready for it. Waiting on God's timing requires patience, trust, and surrender. It means believing that even when things don't happen the way we expect, God is still in control. His plan is always greater than anything we could imagine, and when the time is right, everything will fall into place perfectly. So if you are in a season of waiting, do not be discouraged. Trust that God is at work. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep moving forward. Because when God's time arrives, it will happen suddenly, powerfully, and in a way that only He can make possible. When you fully surrender to God, He takes care of everything. This is not just a promise, it is a divine guarantee. God is not just your creator, He is your provider. Many people live in fear of lack. They worry about how they will pay their bills, how they will take care of their families, how they will make it through the challenges of life. But here's what you need to know. God has already made a way. Look at how God provided for Elijah. When there was famine in the land, God commanded the ravens to bring Elijah food. When the brook dried up, God led him to a widow who miraculously never ran out of flour and oil. Elijah never had to beg, never had to worry. God always provided exactly what he needed, exactly when he needed it. This is the same God who is taking care of you today. He has promised that you will never be forsaken. He will meet your every need, whether it is financial, emotional, or spiritual. The key is to trust Him and to walk in obedience. Provision does not mean that life will always be easy, but it does mean that you will never walk alone. God will send the right resources, the right people, and the right opportunities at exactly the right time. He will make a way where there seems to be no way. So do not let fear rule your heart. Step into the peace of knowing that your Heavenly Father is looking after you. He will provide for you in ways you never expected, and He will supply all your needs according to His riches in glory. When you choose to follow God fully, not everyone will understand. Some people may doubt you, some may criticize you, some may even try to discourage you from walking in faith. But remember this, their opinions do not determine your destiny. God does. Jesus Himself faced rejection. The very people He came to mocked Him, doubted Him, and even crucified Him. Yet He did not let their words stop Him from fulfilling His mission. You will encounter opposition in your journey. There will be moments when people will question your faith, your choices, and your obedience to God. But you must stand firm. Do not let the voices of others shake your faith. The enemy will also try to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. He will whisper lies, trying to make you believe that you are not worthy, that God has abandoned you, or that your prayers will never be answered. But you must recognize these lies for what they are, attempts to keep you from your divine calling. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself of God's faithfulness. Look back at the times He has come through for you. Remember every answered prayer, every breakthrough, every moment when His hand was evident in your life. Hold on to His promises. Declare His word over your life. Speak His truth louder than any doubt, louder than any opposition. Because when you stand firm in faith, no attack, no criticism, and no obstacle can stop what God has planned for you. Chosen one, this is your moment. This is your time to step fully into God's plan for your life. No more holding back, no more hesitation, no more fear. Today is the day of surrender. God is calling you into a deeper relationship with Him. He is asking you to trust Him with every part of your life, your dreams, your struggles, your future. He is inviting you into a life of peace, purpose, and divine provision. But first, you must be willing to let go. Let go of control. Let go of fear. Let go of anything that is keeping you from fully embracing what God has for you. Say to Him today, Lord, take my life. Lead me. I will follow you, no matter the cost. When you make this commitment, everything changes. You will begin to see doors open, burdens lifted, and blessings flow in ways you never imagined. You will walk with a new confidence, knowing that you are not alone. God is leading you every step of the way. So take this step of faith. Surrender fully, and watch as God moves in your life like never before. This is your time, and the best is yet to come.